everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on your Friday night. It is the Bold Strokes Bookathon. We are here. There's me, Georgia Beers, and Krystina Rivers, and Claire Forsythe, and we are going to talk for a little while, get to know each other, hopefully help you get to know us. The fun thing about these chats for me is that Sandy tends to pair me up with people I don't know, which I think works really well because then I'm getting to know them while the rest of you are getting to know them. So we're going to get to know each other. How about that, you guys? So Krystina Rivers and Claire Forsythe, both romance authors, correct?
Yep.
And both of you are fairly new. Your first books are coming out this month, correct?
Yep.
So excited for you both. Are you guys like, is it weird? Is it, tell me, I want to know. So you've probably gotten your box of books by now, right?
Yeah, mine came out actually last month, so I'm on month 2.
Okay, but still, it was your first book, right?
First book, yes, so exciting.
So tell me what it felt like to open that box and see like your book with your name on it and hold it in your hands. I remember that, like 150 years ago, but I want to hear how it feels like for you guys. Claire, tell me what it felt like.
Oh, it was just, one of those things you never ever thought would happen, and just holding it in your hand, you're thinking, I can't believe I've actually written a book, and here it is. And then I got to show it off to everybody I know.
I was going to say, did you like run around with it?
Everybody have a look. Look at my photo of me in my book. Here it is. Look. Hey.
That's awesome. Krystina, what about you? Did you have the same like excitement and giddiness?
I did. Yes. I honestly, this has felt so surreal this whole entire time. I mean, I started writing during the pandemic when I had more time, and I don't know, like I didn't really know if anything was going to happen. And then I wrote this book, and then Bold Strokes was who I reached out to, and they accepted me, and I was like, oh my God. And every day it feels like it's getting like more and more real finally. And it's funny. I feel like I talk a really good game on Twitter with all of my writing, but inside I'm like, oh my God, I've actually written a book and it's published. Oh my God.
Well, and for the rest of your life, you are published author Krystina Rivers and published author Claire Forsythe, and nobody can ever take that. And it's so cool. It's like being an Academy Award winner, so-and-so, that title never goes away. It's pretty awesome. So I was looking up your books today, and so Claire's, yours is Business of the Heart.
Yep.
And Krystina, yours is Something Between Us. And I read both of the synopses, and I have one question for both of you. Are there any business suits?
Yeah.
I thought so. That's my thing.
They're definitely a fair number.
Romance. It's the only thing that has kept me watching the L Word is Jennifer Beals in her business suits. That's it. That's all I need is a business suit. Very easy. So, Krystina, I know that you live in Chicago, correct? Which is not where you are right now. As we discussed, you were in the Hogwarts library right now, but
yes.
And Claire, where are you? I know, are you I'm not even going to guess because I'm going to get it wrong. You tell me where you are.
I am in Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Ireland.
Yep.
I've never been to Ireland, and I just think that is like top on my list of someplace.
You have to. Brilliant place.
Yeah.
Have to visit Ireland. Yeah. Everybody has to visit Ireland at least once.
That's very cool. So do you guys do you both write full time? Do you have other jobs? What do you do?
You go first, Krystina. Go on ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. I work in commercial real estate, so I deal with a lot of numbers and Excel spreadsheets, and not a lot of my creative side comes out other than when we're like designing, new things, amenity spaces or stuff like that. Like that's when my creativity gets to come out, and when I write at night or on the weekends. Got it.
Claire, what do you do when you're not writing?
Yep. I own my own coffee shop, so
that's so awesome.
I know. So I make coffee, drink coffee, make food from morning to night, and it's a busy spot. Keeps me very busy. Open 7 days a week, so there's not a lot of rest time there, but it's good.
Do you work 7 days a week?
7 days a week, right? Yikes.
Yeah. I try not to. I do a lot of the time. I work 6 days a week anyway, but sometimes the 7 day weeks just have to happen. But
ouch.
So if I remember correctly, there's a coffee shop in Claire's book and a real estate agent in Krystina's book. Am I right?
They say, right, what you know.
You're absolutely right. I have done exactly the same thing. So people always ask, they're like, do you steal from like real life situations? And we're all like, well, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Absolutely.
Yeah, this current book, Something Between Us, has a real estate finance person in it. My next book that comes out in January, that one has a broker in it. But there's real estate all through it, because I feel like everybody always likes residential real estate, but commercial is a lot of fun. And I mean, except for when I'm staring at spreadsheets for like 13 hours in a row.
I don't know how you do it. Numbers hate me. They hate me. And I realize that I have taken over this chat and asking all the questions, but you guys are allowed to ask me or each other questions as well. So just I do a lot of this and I talk a lot, so just cut me off.
What about your new book, Georgia? It's the third in a series, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It is. It's with a twist. It's the third in the Swizzle Stick Romance series. It is my 31st book, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a little surreal to even say that. I think I stopped counting and then someone mentions it or they'll ask me and then I literally have to go down to the shelf where I keep all my books and I have to count them. And at one point I realized that Flavor of the Month was number 25. And so I tried to keep that in my head so that I only have to count from there, but I can't remember anything anymore.
So how many books did you write before you started writing full time?
That is a very good question. I feel like I've been writing full time for 10 years, maybe. So I want to say maybe 15. I actually would have to go stare at them. I'm such a visual person that I can't like think about, I have to look at them on the shelf and go, okay, so this book I was here, this book I was here, this book, and figure it out. But I think about halfway through. So about 15, I would think.
Okay.
But I was also not writing 3 a year because I had a day job.
Yeah.
And when you, as you guys know, when you have a day job, you have to squeeze in the writing when you can. So I did that for a while. So I was doing like a book a year, maybe 2 books a year. But once I started writing full time, now I write 3 books a year and that's the schedule. A little crazy.
I'm sure everybody's very glad of that though, that there's 3 books a year come out.
It's pretty cool. It's the thing that I find interesting. And I don't know if every publisher works this way or if it's just us, but Bold Strokes advertises a little bit ahead. They have to market ahead of time. So like this book is my 31st book. But the next one is already written and in editing. And I just finished the one after that. And now I have the new idea for the next one. And then I have to give Sandy an idea for the next one by the end of the month. So it's like, we're so far ahead that that's why I get confused. And people are like, how many books have you written? And I'm like, how many have I written or how many can you get? Because there's a difference.
I'm really on number 45 in my head.
Good for you. So have you always written? Is this like something that you've always done even as kids, or like, how did you each get into it? Krystina, you start. Tell me how you started writing.
So I am a big reader. I've always been a big reader. Like, I don't know, when my wife and I have had to do long distance before, I would read like a book every like 2 days or something. And that's still while working full time. So I would just read on my lunch. I would read in the afternoon. And it was just something that my parents and my sister, my grandmother, like kind of ingrained in me that reading is really important. And although I'd really always wanted to write because I love to read so much and I felt like I had a lot of stories, I have a demanding job. I travel a lot for work. And so sometimes it's really hard to find time for anything. So the horrible thing of the pandemic happens. We all get sent home from work, right around St. Patrick's Day. And I was actually watching the April Bookathon in 2020. And I was like, I have extra time. I think I'm going to write a book. I mean, I dedicated an entire weekend to watching a Bookathon. I think I could really do this. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. And my wife is in law school, so she's still very busy. Work was kind of busy, but without having to commute downtown, without having to travel all the time for work, I had some extra hours and wrote the book.
It's amazing. Claire, what about you?
Yeah. What was the question? Sorry,
Have you always written? Have you always written, or is that something new for you? How did you get into it?
No, completely new. I've always been really interested in books and writing. Like even whenever I was younger, I would have written short stories. Like whenever even I was at school and things like that. Been very interested in it. I've always been a reader as well, just like you, Krystina. You know, my granny was a reader, my mum was a reader, so you always read books. That's something that happened. And yeah, so whenever my coffee shop had to close over lockdown, I thought, do you know what? I'm actually just going to try and write my own book, because I was doing plenty of reading. And I thought, wonder if I could do this. And then I did, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't even know if I would be able to do it. But then whenever I actually enjoyed doing it as well, yeah, I just want to keep writing now.
It sounds like lockdown got a lot of people to go, I guess I'll try this. I mean, what else do you have to do, right?
I mean, the other choice is drink far too much alcohol. So.
Yeah, well, there was that. I think that's the only business that like got a bump in business over the pandemic was the alcohol stores. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A. So Joni, thank you for pointing out that Anna in the chat asked if I am ever afraid that I will run out of ideas. Every single day. Yes, I am. Every single day I am afraid I will run out of ideas. And whenever I get the email from Sandy that says she needs my next idea, I have a full-blown panic attack, and I take a couple of days to just breathe. And then I remind myself that I feel like this every time. You think that I would learn, but I do not. So then I find a new idea and then I send it off, and then I feel relief until the next email comes. So yes, I do. Every single day I worry that I will run out of ideas. Do you guys read romance? I know you both said you're big readers. What is your go-to genre? Give me some titles, give me some authors. What do you like to read? It doesn't have to be romance. I'm just curious if you read romance.
I mostly read romance. I don't know. Sometimes I'll read like mysteries or something. Like I enjoy Harlan Coben. I don't know, Dean Koontz.
Love Harlan Coben. I love Harlan Coben.
He's so good. But mostly I read romance, and especially now I just don't have that much time to read anymore. I had no idea how much of my reading time writing would steal. And then also the social media-ing involved with trying to have a presence and engaging, and it's fun, right? But it takes a lot of time, and I never did that. I mean, I gave up on Facebook like 5-6 years ago, maybe more. And then I was only doing Instagram occasionally. So now I'm trying to like have a real presence and all of that. And then writing eats into my weekend reading and my evening reading. So I don't read a ton. So honestly, right now I haven't read anything other than a lesbian romance in, I don't know, probably since the beginning. Probably like 3 years before the pandemic started.
I wish I would never have started TikTok. I feel so much pressure. To post content.
I just got on the damn TikTok, and I feel so much pressure that I need to figure out what to post on. I need to like hire somebody to make TikToks for me because I don't know what to do.
Well, if you hire somebody, send them my way, will you? Because I need them too.
Okay, I made my like first reel, and that was my dog running down the street.
I like that one though. I saw that one in the slow motion. That was good. Claire, what about you? What do you read?
Reading, I flip between sort of, I love romance books. So I would probably read like 5-6 romance books in a row, and then I'll be like, right, now I need some crime and like somebody, like a murder mystery, or just some terrible thing that's going to completely take me away from romance. And then I'll read a couple of those, and then I'll flip right back to romance again, and keep everything light and easy for another 5 or 6 books until I decide to go dark again.
I got somebody in the chat saying that the cattail is very distracting. I'm sorry about that. I have no control over it. He does what he wants to do. He's a cat. We actually had a little discussion about this before we went live. He just decided he's going to be in here when he feels like it.
So I feel like I almost know your animals, Georgia, from following you on social media. But Claire, do you have any pets? Cats, dogs, birds? Anything horrible like snakes?
Yeah. Not snakes. No, definitely not snakes. Yeah, I have a dog called Charlie who's somewhere. I've got a cat who's been fighting with another cat through the window while we've been talking there. So I'm surprised you haven't heard that going on. And yeah, a goldfish who's been alive for like 12 years now. So
Oh my
he
gosh.
has to get a mention because he's there.
What's his name? What's the goldfish's name?
Jazz. And he's
Jazz,
very
okay.
jazzy. He's very, very jazzy. He's very glamorous. He's got big fins and
That's amazing.
Does he like flap his little fins around when it's time to eat so that you remember that it's feeding time?
yeah. My
Hello,
friend
I'm in here.
said he looks like he wears high heels and a feather boa, so that's Jazz.
Someone in the chat is asking if your cat tries to eat Jazz.
Used to. We've managed to get out of that one. Used to have to actually stack books on top of Jazz just to make sure the cat couldn't get anywhere near Jazz. So there has to be a bit of training going on there, but she doesn't seem too interested now. She's too interested in the cat out the window right now. So
So, and Krystina, you have one dog?
2 dogs.
2 dogs. Okay.
And
What are
3
their names?
cats.
2 dogs and 3 cats. Holy cow.
Yeah,
I need to know all the names. I must have all names.
so many. Okay, so the dogs are Jordan and Clark. They're both pretty big pit bulls. Jordan, that's the one who's running across the street. She's like a 60-pound pit bull, and then Clark is a 90-pound pit bull. And they're both just like bundles of love, unless somebody's delivering mail, or there's another dog, in which case then there's panic that ensues from Clark.
Uh-huh.
And then the 3 cats, we have Citrus, Socks, and Massimo.
Nice. Nice. And Claire, what are your animals' names besides Jazz?
I've got a Shih Tzu. His name's Charlie, and I've my cat's called Midnight.
Nice. I love it. I love that we all have animals. It's funny. Someone made a comment once in, I don't remember if it was a review or what, but they said something about how happy they were that there were always animals in my books. And I don't know any LGBTQ people who don't have pets. I just don't. So like, that's normal for me. If I wrote some with no pets, I'd be like, this is weird. Let me check and see what we have in the questions. Oh, actually, we answered this. Is romance your preferred genre because that's the genre you prefer to read, or do you have other favorite genres? I would like to say that I love thrillers and suspense. I tend to read that before romance. I read both, but I gravitate towards thrillers and suspense first. I don't know why. It's the same thing with movies. I love a great rom-com, but I'm going to watch the thriller first. I'm going to watch the scary movie first. I don't know what it is. I think I like to see the bad guy get caught, for as far as like horror movies go. And then for thrillers, I like the puzzle. I like the psychological thrillers are my favorite. That's probably my top genre in both books and movies. So I don't know. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think if I was looking for a film or something to put on, I would go for a psychological thriller, something that makes you think.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I would pick that before a romance film anyway. And like I say, just flip between the two.
Yep.
For reading.
Exactly. What about you, Krystina?
In movies, it totally depends on a number of factors. Number one, my mood. Like sometimes you just want something that's like light and fluffy and you're going to feel really like solid at the end. Like everything is like sunshine and rainbows. But sometimes you want something a little grittier. Sometimes I want something a little grittier, though my wife is deployed right now. And so I'm flying solo until November.
Okay.
And I will not watch anything scary while she's gone, because when you're in a 4-story house by yourself and the dog starts to grumble when you're on the 3rd floor trying to sleep, it's scary as hell. Because whatever I just watched, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Strangers. That movie is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
No, because there's no reasoning behind that movie. That's what I don't like. There's because like no reason.
Right. Yeah. Why are you doing this? Because you're home. That like
you're home. No, that is not. You know what that is? That's lazy writing. That's what that is. That is lazy writing. What is their motive? You answered the door. No.
Well, I still find it to be like the scariest thing ever. So right now, until Thanksgiving, I am unlikely to watch anything scary, read anything scary. I actually was watching Dexter several years ago when my wife was gone for something else, and that the season with John Lithgow in it.
Yes.
Like I had to stop watching because I was so freaked out. I couldn't sleep at night. I had like the sweats. I had to stop. And I keep meaning to go back, and I still haven't. But now I'm gonna need to wait till after Thanksgiving again.
I'm kind of surprised that I watch scary movies because I do live alone and I'm, here by myself, and I have it's not a huge house, but it's a house, and I don't know. I'll watch something scary, and in the back of my head, I'm like, how do you know this? How do you know somebody's not gonna, I'm not even worried about the crazy person breaking into my house. I'm worried about the ghosts. I'm worried about the ghosts and the spirits and the evil things that I don't know.
The ghosts are the scary things, Daphne. It's the ghosts that are going to get you.
Yeah,
time.
I'm not worried about a crazy man breaking in. I have a baseball.
No, that's not going to happen. It's definitely going to be the ghosts.
And I think to myself, I lock everything up, and then I'm like, there's no way somebody could sneak in and my animals would not know. They're both on the bed with me. They would wake up. But a ghost is different.
There's so many false alarms with the animals. Like I don't know. I think that maybe Jordan hears ghosts because sometimes we're just laying in bed. I hear nothing. Clark hears nothing. She starts grumbling, and then he starts barking like a lunatic. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I'm reaching for the baseball bat under the bed, and I'm like,
I don't know. I don't know why we do it. I love the scary. I love it. I wish I could write it. I wish I could write suspense, but I feel readers are so smart, and I worry that I would not be able to tie up all the loose ends, that somebody would find something that I missed. I think you have to have a brain that works a special kind of way to write mysteries and thrillers and psychological suspense and have it all tied up at the end. I really admire that. I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be like afraid all the time as I'm trying to write about some super scary serial killer ghost or something, and I would legitimately have nightmares.
Would you have nightmares about your own ghost though? If you're writing the ghost, would you still have nightmares about your own
Good point.
ghost?
You have the control.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're like bad ghosts, yes, I probably would, because they take on a life of their own sometimes.
That is hilarious. Oh, let's see. What else do I have for you guys? When is your favorite time to write? Do you have a favorite time and a favorite place? Like, Claire, when the hell do you write? You own a business that's open. Like, what are your hours?
Well, I work 8 a.m. and usually get home about 6 p.m. So it would be nighttime. So sort of about 9, 10 o'clock on the
You're
sofa.
on your feet the whole time. Aren't you exhausted by the time you get home?
I
my
am
God.
pretty exhausted. I am.
You're my hero. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Seriously. I'd be like, I really would like to write a book, but I don't have the energy.
Some days I agree with that. But it's good fun.
So you write at night then?
Yeah. I would do most of my writing at night. Sort of
Okay.
Get in, get sorted, and then sit down with the computer. So 9, 10 at night. I'd be a bit of a night out anyway. So.
And do you write in the same spot all the time, or do you move around? Do you have a preference?
No, usually I've got my desk here where I'm sitting on the right, or if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll just go and put the feet up on the sofa and the laptop on my knee, and that's it.
Perfect. What about you, Krystina?
I get my most productive writing done on the weekends. I try to write in the evenings, and I'm not very good at writing for like an hour. Like, I'm not good at sitting down and saying, I'm going to write 1,000 words, because I agonize over the first 175. And then it's been like the entire time that I thought I was going to write 1,000 in. And then I'm like, well, hell, now I just wasted all this time and haven't got anything done. On the weekends, if I have like a full-on like weekend day that I can dedicate, I'll write like 8,000 or 9,000 words just in one setting. Like, everything just like flows. And then if I'm really lucky, these are like my favorite weekends. I can do that Saturday and Sunday, and I feel super productive. So I like to write on the weekend. Sometimes I'll write during the week. Sometimes I really like to write in airport bars. It sounds very crazy. I like sit at the bar.
You know what? A lot of people say that.
Right. And it's funny because I don't like to be distracted. I don't put the TV on when I'm home. I don't want like anything that's going to distract me. But for some reason at the airport bar, paying like $27 for a 6-ounce pour of some wine that the bottle at the liquor store costs like $12.
Yeah.
There's something about like that setting. So sometimes when I travel for work, if it's like in the evening and I can, I'll just like pop out my laptop and write, and then I'll write on the plane too. Because once I get into a flow, I can do it. It's just that kind of initial finding the right time.
Yeah. I actually wrote on a plane a couple of weeks ago on the way to see my mom in Florida. And I don't usually do that because I'm so conscious of the person who is right here, like reading everything. Like, and then there's no way I would write like a love scene or something, but I managed to put that out of my head and just write. And I got 1,000 words down on a flight, which I don't usually do. But I know a lot of people who say that writing in airports works great for them. And I can write at a coffee shop. I can write where there's like ambient sound. What I can't do is write to music, because I can write to instrumental music, but not music with words, because I'm going to sing it in my head and it takes like all my concentration. I know people like make playlists for their characters. I can't, it distracts me. But I can write, I think there's an app where you can get like coffee shop sounds and it's just like, silverware clinking against dishes and like people talking, but you can't really hear them. That I can write to. I don't know what that is. I prefer silence, but I can write someplace like that. I guess because I live alone, silence is I have control over it. I don't have kids running around or, someone else who's trying to do another job. But do you guys need silence or do you write to music? What do you do?
I definitely need silence. I like complete quiet. I can't have the TV on. That would distract me. I even need to leave my phone across the room because I'll pick that up. So 0 distractions is the best way for me.
Do you think it's because there is sound in your job all day long?
Yeah, maybe. Like I definitely couldn't write and work. Like there would just be watching all the other things going on. So definitely just silence in a room with no distractions whatsoever.
I get that. I totally get that. What about you, Krystina?
I don't like total silence, but it also has to be something not distracting. So like you were saying, Georgia, like no words. I can't have any words to songs that I know. Like sometimes I'll put on like classical music on the, I don't know, Pandora or something. I feel like I'm probably the only person who uses Pandora, but classical music or like jazz or like big band or something.
But instrumental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I listen to that sometimes. I rarely write with nothing because I feel like silence, then my brain just gets weird and doesn't want to be creative. It just is like, it's too quiet in here. It's
listening for serial killers.
Exactly. I'm waiting for my dog.
Is somebody breaking in the window? Oh, there's a cat.
There's a cat.
Right. But it was funny, Georgia, the panel, like 2 panels ago, they were talking about like creating playlists and listening to playlists for characters. I can't do it. That many words.
Nope.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do that. I've had days when like there's been a song that I'm like, oh, I haven't heard this in a while. And I'll put my earbuds in and I'll sit here and there will be 0 typing because I'm like, it's just ridiculous. We have a question in the Q&A box. Do characters just come at you from out of the blue, or do you see people, strangers, and make up stories about them in your head, and then something sticks and you use a kernel of that idea to write a story? Joni, that is a lot. So let's go with, do characters just come to you from out of the blue, or do you have a method of coming up with all of the details about your character? Either one of you, jump in.
Or it's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I agree.
I think I actually thought of my characters. So no, it's out of the blue. Like they're not based on anybody or anything like that. And I think start off with like a very basic character, and then they grow just as I write, and they just turn into this person. So I think
that makes sense. Yeah. Krystina, what about you?
I think that my ideas they normally start with like a kernel for a plot, not a kernel for a person necessarily. So I think about like a meet cute, and then I think, oh, well, how could that like, how could this grow out of that? I have actually a notepad on my phone that anytime I have an idea, I just like write it in there, and then I put it to the side because I don't want to be distracted, because I'm only working on one book at a time. I don't know how people do a bunch all at once. But I kind of take that kernel and then I like let it grow. And then I do take like actresses, and in my head, that's who they become. So I'll do like one of those, whatever that little like Instagram Stitcher thing is, and I'll like steal pictures and I just put them side by side. I put it on my phone. So anytime I'm like, well, what's happening? What does this character think? I go and look at that and I think about that actress, and then that kind of helps push me through.
You are the first other author that I've ever talked to who does that, because I do the same thing. I'm very visual. I will see somebody on TV or in a movie and I'll be like, oh, she's pretty. And then, or it'll be two actresses in a scene together and I'm like, they should just sleep together. So I always start with the characters. I have them in my head first, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them at that point, but I have the visual of what they look like. And I do the same thing. I'll pull a picture off of their website or their Instagram, and I use Scrivener, and Scrivener has like bulletin boards. So like a cork board, so you can put pictures up. So I will take a picture of each of them and put them in their character analysis so I can see what they look like anytime I need to go, all right, let me see them together again. And then I feel like the plot comes from there. I mean, you say you start with a plot first. I start with the characters first. And then I think, what can I do with these? What can I do with these women? I don't know. And I think their jobs are usually the next thing that I come up with, because I tend to write their conflicts out of their occupations more often than not. Or I try to make their occupations be something that makes them do this, and then I go from there. So yeah, I'm just really visual. I have to see them first. And I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, they morph into who they are as I write. I need to have a visual, and they may change a little as I go along, but in my head, this is who they are. And I rarely tell people who my celebrity pairs are in every book, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. You know what I mean? I may have, I don't know, Angie Harmon as somebody, and people might be like, oh, I fucking hate her. So then that like ruins the book for them. So I don't tell anybody, but I know who they all are.
I think that's so rude though. Like, now you've like given us these little like kernels. Now I'm going to go back.
I
and
know.
look at every one of your books that
I
I've
know.
read.
I had somebody be like, what if I pay you? Will you tell me if I pay you? No.
Don't we get like
I'm just
special
really,
privilege?
I feel like what characters look like is so subjective to each individual reader. And I'm just really conscious of just making it bad for them. I don't want to do that. I want them to make that person whoever they need that person to be in order to be in the story. So I don't know.
See, I would really like to know, because honestly, I think the reason I do it when I write is because I used to do it when I read. When, like, especially if I was reading like a series and there are like characters that are interacting or something, I have like a 4-square. I did this for Melissa Braden's Soho Loft books. I had like a 4-square of all of the friends, and then I had a separate one of like each one of the couplings that went along, so that I could like look at all of them.
That's
together,
awesome.
and then I could also look at them all separately. They're still on my phone.
I can tell you some of the people I've used. I won't tell you who they are or which characters, but I've used Angie
Let me take
Harmon.
notes.
I've used Rachel McAdams. I've used Alana De La Garza from Law and Order. I've used her like 4 times because I find her incredibly sexy. I've used, let me think. I've used, I have all of their, I've used Sasha Alexander. I've used Gillian Anderson. I've used Kate Walsh. So there you go. There's a bunch. Go figure it out.
I've been taking notes, and I'm going to figure all of these.
And a lot of
things out.
times it'll be like a younger Kate Walsh. Do you know what I mean? Because I tend to write, because I write contemporary romance, they tend to be in their 30s. And a lot of times the woman in my head is a little older or a little younger. And so I make her 35. Claire, what do you do? How do you come up with your characters? Are they visual for you? Does it not matter? What do you do?
I don't think my characters, like, they don't really have a face. I'm terrible. Even whenever I'm reading a book, like, the characters are doing what they're doing, but I never actually see a face,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So
No, that does make sense.
so it's based mostly on like their feelings and their personality, and I
Mhm.
always have the rough outline of like how they look, the hair color,
Right.
how tall they are. So I would have all that, but I don't have an actual clear vision in my head.
Okay.
So I think you can make my characters whoever you want to make them, because
That's good though.
yeah,
That's a good thing.
because I haven't even really made them exactly who they are. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of scope for you to do what you want with them.
Gotcha. Also, it helps me a lot that Sophia Bush and Hillary Burton are friends because they have a ton of pictures together. I've used them like 4 times. 4
Trying
different
to
books.
figure out how to describe Sophia Bush's voice, because I
Her voice
love
is
it.
the best, isn't it? Can she
Right?
just like read something to us? I love her voice. Love it. Her and
book
Angie
is like-
Harmon, they could like battle with the like reading out loud thing. We'll see who wins that one.
I don't know. I would throw Julie Andrews in the mix, but that's just because I have been in love with her since the age
Oh,
of.
right. Who's not?
7.
Who's not? Yes. Yes. I have a friend who's like never seen a Sound of Music. And I'm just like, we have to rethink this friendship.
Oh my
Right now.
God.
We gotta rethink
yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Definitely my comfort film. Anytime I'm sick or anytime there's something wrong or
Yes.
I just haven't seen it in 2 months, 3 months, I have to watch The Sound of Music.
I think, is that in your bio on Bold Strokes?
no,
Claire?
no, it's
I
not.
feel like I
should
just
be.
read that somewhere. So somebody else, it's either you or somebody else said that. But I
It's
mean,
an
what?
important thing, so it should be there.
It's the best. It is the best. Everything about that movie. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I do. It's like the only book that's reliable, or the only movie that's reliably on my phone at all times, because the same way, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm sad, if I'm lonely, if I'm on a flight and I need to sleep, I just pop up The Sound of Music, put my headphones on, and yeah, because Julie Andrews, I just want her to like narrate my entire life. That's it. Just
Seriously.
let her, right? I just watched Victor Victoria on a flight
Okay.
coming out east. And now I'm like obsessed with Julie Andrews in Suits again. It's not the first time, it won't be the last time, but oh my God.
She's amazing. And she's aged so well. She's still so beautiful.
She is.
Unbelievable.
And her voice, I
Uh-huh.
just like melt into a puddle right now.
What do you guys do for fun?
When?
Yeah. Okay. So Claire, never mind.
No, for fun. I'm a big football fan. Suppose you would say the soccer fan for
Soccer,
you,
yep.
David. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would watch a lot of football, especially team I support. To try and make sure I'm there to watch them every weekend that they're playing.
Men's or women's?
Men's.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And me and my partner, we play badminton with our friends every week.
Oh,
So
fun.
yeah, it's good. It's we lose every single week. So we lose. But
We're terrible.
we turn up every week and we get our workout and we play. And yeah, I don't know why we keep going, but we keep turning up anyway. So.
That's awesome. I love that. What about you, Krystina? What do you do for fun?
I used to read.
Once upon a time, I read.
I still actually I read for fun, like in the evenings. I feel like I should have been prepared for this question. I don't even know what I do for fun anymore. I drink.
Cheers to that.
Right. I like to watch sports. I'm highly unathletic, but I enjoy watching sports. So we have season tickets to the WNBA Chicago Sky. So I'm really excited that the season's getting ready to gear up and should be a good one, I think, hopefully. I mean, my team won the championship last year, so that was a lot of fun. But I also enjoy basically all sports. I prefer women's to men's, but you know, like I watch men's football, the American style. But I also watch the rest of the world style football or soccer when it's on TV and I can figure it out. I mean, the Chicago Red Stars, pretty fun to watch. I really enjoy the Olympics. This has been so much fun having like the summer and then the winter Olympics so close together.
Right.
But now we have to wait so long for them to come back. So
yeah, there is that.
yeah, I like to hang out with my dogs. We like to cuddle and the cats.
Nothing wrong with a good cuddle. Nothing at all.
Sometimes you just need a hug from your 90-pound dog who comes in.
It's true. You know, it's funny. I when I was looking to get another dog, I considered adopting a pit bull, and I came really close, but I was just worried about having a dog that was stronger than me, because I'm not 25 anymore. But I feel like they get such a bad rap because every person I know who has a pit bull says they are just like big teddy bears.
100%.
I feel like I'm a firm believer that there are no bad dogs, just bad owners. Although I had a dog that was like crazy aggressive, but I think she was wired wrong. There was something wrong there. But so I think mostly there's no bad dogs, just bad owners.
Right. I would agree. And if there is a dog who has some things wrong, it's probably because they had a bad owner before and they
Very
ruined
possible.
the poor dog, which
Very possible.
yeah, no, I mean, they are, I'm also not 25, even close to it these days, but it is tricky sometimes because the big guy, when he gets upset, or like a bunnies are the bane of my existence when I walk the dogs, because I feel like I've like almost dislocated my shoulder before when they go tearing off, but they make up for it with cuddles. And I never worry when I walk the dogs at 5 a.m. in the dark by myself.
There you go. Nobody's going to mess with you with those dogs.
Yeah.
Archie would be like, hey, come over here, pet me and my mom.
So Georgia, other than doing like bookathons and writing a lot and reading really scary books and watching scary movies, what else do you do for fun?
Well, it's been a pandemic, Krystina. So that is an excellent question. Because I am an introvert, I think this is what happened during the pandemic. Because I'm an introvert, I got even more used to being in my house by myself. So I am finding going out and doing stuff to be even harder than it was because I got so used to being here by myself. Christmas was rough because I did like 3 different houses over the course of 2 days. And then I was exhausted for like 4 days. It's like, it's too much peopling. It's too much peopling. I feel like I'm out of practice. But a good friend of mine owns a wine bar. And so I will go hang there and listen to music and have a glass of wine, and I will see my friends there. I have a big family. I have a grandbaby now. I have a granddaughter who was born in January. So I'm finding that the majority of my free time, I zip over there to hold the baby for an hour or hold the baby for an hour and a half. And that has been an unexpected joy in my life. It's a very long story. My ex's niece, she lost both of her parents. We took her in at 15 and raised her, got her through high school. So she's not my daughter, and the baby has no blood of mine, but in my heart, she's my granddaughter. So it's been kind of cool. I was there for her birth. I saw her being born. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So a lot of my free time is going to Gemma now, which is not something I ever expected. So that's kind of cool. When you don't have children and then you end up with a grandchild, that's kind of a neat thing. Archie and I walk a lot. I mean, I feel like I'm starting again now that the pandemic is settling and things are starting to open again. So ask me again in a month what I do for fun, and I might have some better answers for you.
It sounds like such an easy question, but I feel like with the pandemic, it's so much harder than it was.
I watch a ton of TV. Watch a ton of TV, movies and shows, and it's awful when you have like every channel known to man and you can't find something to watch because you've already watched it all because you're home all the time. So that's a little sad. But I'm starting to take trips again. I'm starting to go see people. So that's good. That's a good thing. Starting to go out to dinner, do a few things here and there. So summer's coming. I'll get out and about.
Yeah.
Right. So George is an introvert. I consider myself an extroverted introvert. Claire, my guess, because you own a coffee shop, is that you're an extrovert. I feel like you would have to be, but I'm very curious to know if I'm correct or not.
It's a good question.
That is a good question. So honestly, at heart, I am a complete introvert. I love my time to myself. I love being in the house and not peopling, and I feel like I people all day for my
You
professional
do.
career. So I think I'm allowed to not people for the rest of the time.
Yep.
So I get all of that out at work. So I suppose it's like two different personas. So there's the work Claire, and then there's the home Claire. And home Claire is definitely an introvert. And yeah, work Claire is very chatty, and you would never guess.
All right, so we have like 3 minutes left. So why don't you both tell me what you're working on now and what comes out next? Does that make sense? Because they can be two different things. Krystina, you go first.
So I just finished writing my second book, which is Last New Beginning. And it is, well, I want to say it's with my wife, who's my only beta reader. She's the only person that I would actually like, I don't know. I feel like everybody uses beta readers, and I
don't
not
either.
comfortable with that at all.
I don't either. No, you're okay.
But right, there's like a level of trust there that I feel like she makes my books better for sure.
Yep.
So I want to say it's still with her, but it's not. It's all back with me, and I haven't done anything with it because I've been traveling, and then I was getting ready for this and trying to prepare my reading for tomorrow. But I am pre-editing before it goes to my editor Barbara Ann in like the next month or so, and then that comes out in January. I have a couple of ideas percolating about the next book, but I'm not really sure which one I'm going to settle on, so we'll see. But yeah.
All right, awesome. Claire, what do you got next?
Yeah, so as you know, Business of the Heart is just out, and I haven't actually submitted anything yet, but I've been working myself up to working out when I've got the free time to write, and am I going to be able to meet deadlines? Am I going to be able to get work in time? So I've coming up with ideas, I'm writing them down, and I'm getting the bones of a story there. And yeah, just in the next few weeks, I will come up with something and hopefully be able to give you a better answer to that question. But definitely, I want to get working on something now. So
will it be romance again?
Yeah, romance again.
Romance again? And Krystina, you're going to stick with the romance as well?
Yeah, sorry, I realized I didn't actually tell you anything about the book other than my writing beta readers. So let me take another like 30 seconds and steal the floor. So it's a workplace romance, enemies to lovers, real estate broker, and a general contractor who owns her own business, and they get kind of thrust together in working on a spec suite in an office building. So hopefully everybody finds it as interesting as my wife does.
I bet they will. And then I have With a Twist, which comes out, it's available at Bold Strokes right now, and it comes out on Tuesday, I think is right, everywhere. And that's the last one in the Swizzle Stick Romances. And then in August comes Cherry on Top, which is about an influencer and a woman who wants nothing to do with any social media whatsoever. And then after that, in December, is Camp Lost and Found, which I just finished writing, and I really had a good time with that one. That is about two women who end up spending time together at a defunct summer camp for various reasons, trying to get away from life. And of course, they find love, because that's what these stories are about. So look at you guys, it's exactly time. We did it. That was fun, right?
That was a lot of fun.
That was great. That was great. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet you guys and get to know you. This is fun. So we'll have to be on some panels again in the very near future. Emmett is even like, he's like, okay, I'm out.
Right, George, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it looks like I'm like stalking you on the schedule, because we are on the same panel 2 more times. So.
That's okay. You can stop me. I'm all right with that. I don't mind. All right, you guys, we're going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for coming and spending your time with us. And stick around for more Bookathon and Bold Stroke stuff. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.